Hello everyone, Zelrant here, and for today's video on Umamusume, we're going to talk a little bit about the next targets or goals you might want to start working towards if you're at this point starting to win your races. And that is going to be building up your legacy characters, or what you're going to hear a lot of people call them too is your parent and grandparents, which is how you're going to pass on different things to your new Umas through the inheritance system within the game. This game does get quite complex on this, so this is mostly going to be just kind of a simple introduction to it and kind of my plans, especially when I live stream later today, in getting my starting first like good parent slash grandparents for going into the future when we get more difficult scenarios, we get better support cards, as well as new Umas. And so what I'm talking about with this is whenever you're starting a new career, you're always having to pick your two legacy Umas that you want to be your inspiration to your newest one that you are creating. Now, there is a system to this in trying to get your best ultimate stats, as well as traits, in being able to make an Uma that's going to perform extremely well, especially after career, if you're wanting to do well in the PvP mode when it comes out, which I believe is called the Champions Meeting. And while it's going to be Whale Wars in there, and you're not going to get the top of the leaderboards, you can still place decently in the ranking, even as a free-to-play, and maximize your rewards or value there. And so this is going to be your long-term grind, ultimately, of the game. And so what I'm talking about here with the legacy slash spark system is whenever you're starting with a new character. So the one that I'm going to be trying to get a good sparks for today is going to be actually Bakshin. And so when you go here, this is what I'm talking about, is the legacies. These are the characters that are ultimately going to determine how your new Uma that you're doing a career with turns out long-term. And so when you click this, the first thing is you're going to look at these, and a lot of people immediately are going to assume what's the best one to pick for your legacies. So this is of mine. Most people are going to say, oh, you got an A. Use her. And I got 21 speed, 12 power, 5 guts. Really, really good, right? No. My best one of this group right here is my C+. She did not win the whole race. She got dominated in the end because I did not put enough into acceleration. But when I put it on her, boom, 42 speed, 5 stamina. And she's not even perfect. That's just an alright one. But she is currently my best legacy character I currently have. And that is because, and why she's better than her, is when we look at the inspirations here, or the sparks. And this is ultimately what determines how they start off. And so right now, the main focus, what you're going to hear from a lot of people, the main focus is on your attribute, or the blue ones. Now, long term, you're going to start caring about everything here. But right now, when it comes to just getting your like initial good legacy characters, the blue one should be your focus. She's terrible because there is an RNG to this. And the reason she's terrible is because she got a Guts 1-star. Guts, as everybody says, is probably right now, currently the current scenario, is the least useful stat of them all. So she got that. So not very valuable. Now, she is still giving a lot, 21 points to speed, but that's coming from the grandparent. And guess who the grandparent is? The one that I already said is my best. I used my C+ McQueen here. She has a 3-star speed. And that is why, even though she gives 21, she's giving 42 speed. And that is because she has a 3-spark speed here, as well as a grandparent that has a 3-spark speed. Now, the other grandparent here is a stamina 1. This is me being dumb. This was me going, oh, I need to use my best one, right? Well, she's not my best. As you can see, if I would have had a 3-star speed right here, she would have been perfect on the speed that she gives my team. And so that is ultimately what matters when it comes to picking them, is those sparks. It's not the rating. It's not how well they did in the races. This McQueen did not even get into the finals because ultimately I didn't put enough into acceleration, and she ran out of stamina. Or I didn't put enough into stamina, and she ran out towards the end of the long races. And I didn't have enough skills for it. But didn't matter. She got the 3-spark speed, so she's really good for making new Umas. And so we have that, and then watch when I do with a guest. This is why these guest ones are so good, especially if you have a good one, you can actually just go on the Discord and put out, hey, I have someone with these traits. Here's my friend ID. That way you can get some follows. Because you do get friendship points when people use your units. But also, you can look for people that advertise out there, because not all is. You don't need to just worry about whales. Normal people are going to get good farms as well. Eventually, I'll get a really good one, and you'll be able to borrow mine as well. But I do have one of them that what is a whale that has this one right here, an Oguri A, has 3 speed, a 2 speed, and a 3 speed. When I add her, oh, I don't want to add it right here, 54 speed. So if I actually do both of them together, which I'm not going to start the race, so I'm not going to actually add her, I'm getting 96 speed on this one. And just know, this isn't perfect, because even this one isn't perfect. One of them is only 2 stars. Now, from what I've read online, I think if you have them all 3 stars on both of them, it's actually like 128 bonus speed on top. I think it's 128. Someone could correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But you can get a massive boost to one stat just from that system. And this is why it's the long-term goal, ultimately, of the game, is to get these sparks so that you can pass them on to your future Uma to build really, really good ones. So if I do that, I get that. Now, there's another part to this. As you can see, that's the attribute one. This is like the main focus right now, I think, for a lot of people, is get your speed ones out, get your really perfect stamina, get your power ones. Once you start getting those parents and grandparents, then you start moving on to the other ones that you want to focus on for more targeted things. And this is ultimately going to depend on the future scenarios and what they call for, as well as the champions meetings, which are going to have certain things you're going to focus on. And there's guides out there where you can look at the Japanese version and what they've had in the future, so you can kind of plan for them. It's actually probably going to be a lot harder for us, because if we just follow right what Japan has, people are going to probably start farming specifically right now to build Umas for those future scenarios. I'm actually hoping they shuffle them up so that people can't farm that far in advance for like perfect ones when it comes to these other little things here, because that's just going to make it even harder. But who knows, that might make it where you can actually compete against whales to a certain extent. But that's the ultimate long goal, is passing on the rest of these. And you can even, the other things is you can pass on their unique skills as well. So like right now she has shooting for victory. This can be passed on into somebody else, a different Uma that doesn't have that as their unique skill. That's another reason Umas are going to be important in the future, is trying to be able to pass on some of the best unique skills in the future. Well, that's a long-term goal. Right now, just focus on the attributes. Now, how do you get the sparks here? How do you get a 3-star versus, say, a 2 or a 1-star? There is a lot of RNG to this, but one of the parts that improves your RNG is just by default having parents and grandparents with those. So by picking one that has all these speed ones, it's going to make it much more likely that I get the attribute speed spark in my new Uma. Now, another way to try and get it to 3 stars is, I've seen that the target is, by the time you get the inspiration to get the sparks, you want to hit 600 in whatever that attribute is. And so that is why I actually was able to get it on her. I just started dumping everything into speed, and she got it. Even though she lost, she was able to get the 3-star one. So when it comes to building parents, one thing you may want to do is not actually worry about winning as much. Winning's nice, because you're going to have overall better stats. You'll also get better inspirations too on some of these smaller ones, like specific track inspirations and all that. So winning is good, because they will be overall better from winning from all the other sparks you get. But right now, when you're just trying to get just speed ones, just push them up to 600 speed, and boom, you have a good chance of getting it. Now, it's not guaranteed. You may only get 1, you may only get 2. There's no guarantee to that. But if you have 2 3-star parents, you just keep doing it. Do one race, didn't get it, do the next one. If you didn't get it, keep doing it until you have 3 stars. And guess what? Now you have a 3-star with 2 parents that have 3 stars. And so that one is a perfect one for speed for future Umas. And then maybe you can start working on stamina or power, and then try and improve them through the races. And then maybe now I'll have an A+ 3 speed versus using a C+ 3 speed that has even better, maybe 3 stars on speed, 3 stars on her unique skill here, duty, the dignity calls. That's just even better. And that is ultimately the long-term grind of the game, is just constantly trying to build them better and better and passing on the traits down the line. And so there are going to be future meta Umas that are very good, specifically for their unique skill they bring, but also other things they can bring as well. And so that is ultimately what you have to do and what your plan is. And that is why, which I'll be streaming here in a little bit, Baksheen is kind of my one that I'm going to target for a good 3-speed. And the main reason is she'll actually be able to win if you dump everything in the speed. So she'll make a good initial 3-star speed one right now. Just because she'll actually be able to get really far. I don't like losing, even though my target right now is making good parents and grandparents. I still want to win. She's a good one for that. Aurura's actually really good for this as well. Even though she's terrible at being in the front, if you use her as, if you just put her in the front and dump everything in the speed, because her races are so short, she can easily win like all of her races all the way to the finale. And so she's a good one. So I'm probably going to start working on getting 3-star speeds on Baksheen and her Aurora. The other nice thing about getting it on them as well is while I like them as Umas, they're not my favorite Uma. One thing you cannot do when it comes to selecting your parent, like if I want to build a better McQueen with 3 speed, guess what I can't use? I cannot use my good one. So McQueen I'm not really using right now because I can't pick a good veteran for her with 3 speed. So until I get another one that has 3 speed on a different Uma, I'm pretty much not using McQueen right now. And then eventually I'll work on getting her one down the line. But ultimately, that's the Spark system. That's just a quick introduction to it. And that is what you're going to want to focus on as it's going to become more and more important as we get the more difficult scenarios, as we get more support cards, and eventually when the PvP, like Champions Meeting comes out, if you want to compete in that. But that's pretty much it for now. If you have any questions or you have anything you want to maybe add to it that I'm missing, because I've just started reading onto it, this gets pretty complex, especially when you start focusing on more than just the attribute. But just go ahead and put them in the comments and I'll try and respond to as much as I can. Now, I've been getting a lot of comments on all of my videos, so I can't respond to everything. This game's actually done quite well for me. I see a lot of people are loving the game as much as I am, which is really good. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.